I'm going to go over some of the planning that I've gone through with my pond installation. Now, right here is the back side of my house, and upslope are a couple of swales. So I've got a lot of trees growing on swales. And right along this white line is where I'm going to put in some drain pipe. This area gets to be pretty wet. You can see it's just kind of a natural depression. Now there is enough fall for the water to make it around the corner. However, a lot of water just sort of sits and just sort of percolates into the ground. So what I'd like to do is use this water to empty into the pond. This is around the corner on the left side of the house, and you can see the drain pipe still comes around the corner, and I'll be hooking into a swale here. So we'll dig that out and hook the swale into the drain pipe as well to add to the water collection. Now as we keep coming down the side, drain pipe's still coming down through here, and we're going to hook in to another swale right here, and then upslope of the drain pipe, probably right up in through here, I'm going to actually have the drain pipe stop there and empty, and I'm going to have a dry riverbed filled with river rock basically from there all the way to the entry to the pond. And the reason I want to do that is because the water and the rock mixing like that is going to help to aerate the pond, and that's going to help to oxygenate the water, which will be good for the fish. This is the north side of the pond, and the north side is going to be the shoreline, and your shoreline is going to be the higher elevation. So down there where it's lower, that's going to be the dam wall. Up here where it's higher, that's going to end up being my shoreline. Now, you have to have 1 foot of freeboard on the shoreline, and freeboard is basically the space between the top of the wall and the water level. So my wall actually will begin here, and this needs to fall at a 3-to-1 ratio. So this will be 1 foot tall, and this will fall down to water level right here. So this will be the water level when it's filled properly. And we've got to have a 3-to-1 fall here. So this area here will end up being vegetated. It won't look like there's a big gap of nothing here. It'll be vegetated down to the shoreline right here. And backside of the wall can be a 2-to-1 fall, so that will fall right back into the berm behind it. One thing I like about this site is there's actually a little bit of a valley here. So this shoreline right through here, this is a level contour line. So this is perfectly level all across, and this continues to be level right along the west side of the pond. So this whole line is level. So the whole west side of this shoreline is level. So that means we don't have to have a dam wall, a compacted clay core, all the expensive building that goes on with having a structural dam wall. We only need to have that on the south side and on the east side. Now on the south side, this is where we're going to have our structural dam wall that's going to hold the water back. We're going to also have we're going to have it also on the east side. However, that's going to be tapered up to the level as we go north. So as you can see, the top of this flag is level. So it's actually 4 feet 2 inches is how high the wall is going to end up being. Now a foot of that, 4 feet and 2 inches, is freeboard. So the water level is going to be a foot below that. Now as we come up the slope here, right here, the wall is going to be here, 2 foot 8 inches high, down to 1 foot 8 inches high, down to 1 foot at the corner. And that's just for my freeboard. Now the dam wall width is going to need to be at least 6 feet. So we've got 6 feet wide between the front side of the dam wall and the back side of the dam wall. So this will be 6 feet wide. There'll be a 3-foot wide compacted clay core, and that's going to be deeper than the deepest part of the pond, because that's going to be your keyway or your cutoff, depending on what you want to call it. So going through the dam wall, I'm going to have a double sleeve overflow pipe, stand-up pipe. So we'll have the PVC pipe that's going to be compacted around. We'll have to be really careful not to break it. And if you do break it, you can test it by installing a couple of elbows and putting water in it and see if it holds it or not. So we'll put the PVC pipe through the wall. We'll have it empty into the swale down slope, and we'll have to put a grate on the end of it so nothing takes up residence in the pipe. And then we'll have a pipe that stands up right to the level that we want. So if we're at, a foot below the top of the wall, the freeboard would be about where we are. So that way, any water that goes above it is going to spill into the pipe and out into the swale, and that keeps the constant level, but also, more importantly, it stops any water from overflowing over the dam, which will cause erosion, which could cause failure. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put a bigger pipe over top of the overflow pipe, and that's the double sleeve, and that's going to be slightly higher than the smaller pipe that's underneath. And the reason we do that is that forces the stagnant deep water to go up under and out. So that will help also to oxygenate the pond. Now this front side of the dam wall, it's all on contour. So this is all the same level. All the way across this line here is exactly the same level. And then we have the 6-foot width of the wall, and then the back side is going to be a 2-to-1 fall. So that'll be it'll be 4 foot high. 2-to-1 fall is going to be tapered back 8 feet. Now the front side of the wall, there's going to be 1 foot of freeboard, and that's going to be tapered in 3-to-1. So unfortunately, one bad thing you have to factor in, and it shrinks the size of your pond a little bit, is the front side of the wall. We got 1 foot of freeboard, and then we're tapering in 3-to-1. That means we got to go down 3 feet in before we hit water level. That means that my pond's not going to start here. It's actually going to start where the water is going to start 3 foot in, and then it keeps on going down to the depth. So if you want a real deep area, which I do, I want to have an area that's 6 foot deep for my fish, it's going to have to be on the shoreline, because my pond's not going to be wide enough to have a really deep area on the dam wall side. The dam wall side is going to end up being the shallow. This is the east side dam wall, and you can see this is going to be the height. And then as we're coming up the slope, we come down to here, and then we're coming down to here, 2'6", and we're down to 1'8", and we end up at 1 foot down here. Same thing, same width of 6 feet with a 3-foot clay core. Another thing to understand about ponds is that we do have an overflow pipe, which is great. But if you think about the pipe, it's only this big, and if we have a serious storm surge, it might not be able to take in enough water to keep the dam wall from overflowing. So we need to have an emergency spillway, and that's what this is. This area here is going to be slightly lower than the freeboard, so that way, hypothetically, if we start to get above where the pipe can take that water in, this emergency spillway water's gonna come out through here, and I'm gonna have to clear out all this brush, but it's gonna come out through here and go along the outside of the wall down into the swale down slope.